It Hare Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Jayo Punjabi Hari. Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Punjabi Hari. Харе Кришна, дорогие преданные, спасибо, что пришли сегодня на программу. Сейчас у нас будет небольшая лекция, ее даст наш старший преданный, его милость Doyal Mora Прабху, пожалуйста. Отхариболим его. Харибол! Потом будет сессия вопросов на ответы, а потом у нас будет небольшое вегетарианское угощение. Харе Кришна.
Who here doesn't understand English? Everybody understands? Okay, do I need translator?
Okay.
It's okay? Everybody's cool? You understand English?
A little bit, yeah.
I'm learning.
Same here, yeah, learning.
It's difficult learning only. I only know one language and I don't even know that very well. What does that say about me? Very much. So, what was the subject for today? I forgot.
Topic?
Yeah.
About Krishna.
Something about Krishna.
Yes.
So, Krishna is very wonderful, amazing, very beautiful. He's so beautiful that he bewilders himself with his own beauty. And, he was singing this song, Jai Radha Madhava. This is the description of the spiritual world, Vrindavan. So we understand that Krishna has his duties to perform. It's written in Bhagavad Gita that everybody has to follow their prescribed duties. That even I, Krishna says, even though I have nothing to obtain and there's nothing that I want, but still I'm always doing my prescribed duties, because if I did not perform my prescribed duties, this whole world, all these worlds, will be put to ruination. So Krishna has work to do also. It's not only us, you have to work very hard, you have to have an occupation, you have to earn money, you have to pay the bills so we can have a place to live, have our duties towards our children, towards our parents, towards society. There's so many duties we have to perform. But Krishna also has his duties. The reason we have duties is because Krishna has his duties, so therefore it's coming down from him. Who knows? Who can say what some of Krishna's duties are?
Giving mercy.
Giving mercy. Can you give an example?
Our spiritual growth is his mercy.
Okay. Okay, so duty to deliver the pious and annihilate the miscreants. Yeah, it's one of his duties. What else? What else is Krishna doing? Attracting us to him. Yeah.
Stealing butter.
Hmm?
Stealing butter.
Stealing butter. Well, you could say that's a duty. What about, say for example, is it his duty to, say for example, maintain this material world? Make sure that all the planets are floating in the right place? That the seasons, they come and go at the right times? That gravity doesn't suddenly just disappear? floating. There's many duties performed in the universal affairs, but what about when Krishna comes? Of course, we have Krishna in Vrindavan, but Krishna, when he comes as a human being to play as a king or as a prince, he has many duties also. What kind of duties does he have then?
He was killing all the demons.
Killing demons. One loves a bit of killing. What else?
Dancing with gopis.
Well, that's in Vrindavan, that's different.
I talking about the Dwarka dish.
Yeah, his duties, he has to perform, his work, his occupation. See, in Vrindavan, his occupation is what?
Cowherd boy.
Cowherd boy. He's not a gopi dancer. That's recreation. His occupation, his duties, are to look after the cows, to take them out for a walk in the morning, make sure they're protected, make sure they eat enough grass, get the right herbs from the forest. Any wild animals that are there, he has to make sure they're scared away. And he has to count every single cow, and he knows all of their names. And if they go too far, he'll play his flute to make sure that they come by the sound of the flute, or he'll call them by name and they'll come. And then he'll take them all back home. And then he's got his duties at home as well. He comes back and Mother Yashoda will want him to take his bath. So he can't run away and avoid his bath. He must allow Mother Yashoda to bathe him. He must be polite at home. He can't just be rude. Have you ever heard of Krishna being very disrespectful to his mom? No. He follows all the duties of family life according to his position. He has to bring the shoes of Nanda Maharaj, very good. And then he has to come on time for dinner. When Mother Yashoda calls, he should come to dinner. He shouldn't eat mud and all these things. So he also has many duties to perform. So otherwise this universe, it just doesn't work if there's not an example. This is how Krishna likes to live. How Krishna likes to live his life is how we should live our life. That all the same principles that are there in Vrindavan and Dwarka and Mathura are the same principles that work here in this world. We should also follow the same principles ourselves, our prescribed duties. So we know we have two different types of dharma. We have our dharma here, our duties in this world. So our occupational duties, our family duties, our societal duties, our duties as human beings. But then we also have our Sanatan Dharma, which is our eternal occupational duties. So what's our eternal occupational duties? Who knows what our eternal occupational duties? Some of them. What should we do?
Dasa.
Be the servant of who?
Krishna.
Be Krishna's servant? Yes. Servant Krishna. And how would that manifest? What's the form that would take?
Listening to our guru.
Listen to the Guru? Yes. Approach the Guru, listen to him. And what do we do when the Guru speaks to us?
We listen to him.
We listen. And do we just listen and listen and listen and do nothing?
And we serve him as well.
We serve him according to his instructions. Follow the instructions of the Guru. And service. What else do we have to do? What's part of our service?
Spreading the Krishna consciousness.
Spreading the Krishna consciousness all over the world.
Jai.
Sankirtan movement.
Spreading holy names.
The holy names. We should chant the holy names. Very important. Because if we chant Krishna's name, what will happen to us?
Purifying.
It's purifying.
Purifying the soul.
Yes, purifying soul. What does it cause us to do? if we chant Krishna's names. But what does it stop us from doing?
Being in Maya.
And what is being in Maya technically? What's the technical definition of being in Maya?
Admire.
Not being in Krishna consciousness.
Yes, which means we are what?
To be conscious.
Sleeping, yes. And when we sleep, what happens to us when we fall asleep?
We're sleepy. we
What do we do?
We're in ignorance.
We're in ignorance, yes,
Okay.
because?
Because in Maya. I couldn't understand.
What do you?
unconsciousness.
Yeah, we're unconscious. And what
We
happens
live
to us?
life unconsciously.
We're not progressing.
What? Yes. When we're unconsciously asleep, we're asleep, right? Are you aware of the fact that you're lying in your bed
Not when you're
when you're completely asleep?
No, you're not.
No. So what have you done? You've It's the opposite to, I don't want to give it away. You come to it yourself. When you have bad memory, what do?
Write down everything.
Because? Why do you? Because you've what?
You make a note and then
We're not remembering Krishna.
Yes. We forgot on Krishna. When we're asleep, we're forgetful. We forget who we are. We think we're somebody else in the dream. We can be anybody in the dream. You can be a princess, you can be a king, you can be a Superman flying around, doing anything you want. You've completely forgotten about your real life. And you'd be quite happy never to remember it again. If the dream's a good dream. Of course, if it's a nightmare, it's different. You've completely forgotten everything, and you wake up, it's and you remember again. So it's one technical definition of Maya is forgetfulness of Krishna.
Illusion.
Illusion, yes. We've forgotten who we are. And who are we?
Spirit soul.
Yes. The answer that you gave before. Yeah, the servant of the servant of the servant, Krishna. That's our real identity. And so because we've forgotten who we are, therefore we're in illusion, we're in Maya. So we're dreaming, like in a dream world, completely forgotten my real identity. So forgetfulness of Krishna. And what's the opposite of forgetfulness? Remembrance. So we should always remember Krishna and never forget him. Exactly. And this is the basic rules for Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga means always remember Krishna and
Never forget him.
what should you do?
Never forget Krishna!
And
Always remember him!
very good. So how can we always remember Krishna?
By
Chanting the
chanting.
holy name!
By chanting the holy name.
Haribo!
And what does the holy name sound like?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Couldn't hear anything. What's the holy name sound like?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
I think I got something stuck in my ear. You have to chant very loudly so I can hear you. What does the holy name sound like? Okay, that's better. Good. Yes. So we should always chant the holy names. Because when we're chanting Krishna's name, it's very difficult to forget Krishna and it's easy to remember him. This is our duty. This is our Sanatan Dharma. All the problems in the world are due to a lack of Krishna consciousness. And everything good in this world is because we're remembering Krishna. This world has no other purpose other than to make us suffer so that we remember Krishna and never forget him. It's like a correction facility. Because don't forget that the material world is described as one corner of the creation. It's like a cloud covering Krishna's spiritual creation. And it's a cloud of illusion, because everybody there wants to forget Krishna. What's the advantage of forgetting Krishna? Why do we like it so much?
So we can rule things that way God.
Yes.
I
Because
can
we
feel
want.
myself, Krishna.
Yes.
Because
I
we're
want
jealous
to.
of him, right?
We're jealous of Krishna. Why should he be the one who gets all the love and affection? His pictures everywhere. Everybody's chanting his name. What about my name? I want to hear people chanting my name. When will that day be mine? And people will adore me. They will bow down to me and tell how much they love me. When will that day be mine? Everybody will cook for me and offer everything to me first. And then everybody else can enjoy after me. No? I want that. So we want to enjoy like how Krishna enjoys. And because of that, we see the world as my world. This is my world for my enjoyment, and I am the Lord. And everybody here and everything here is for me. And if everybody would just understand this, the world would be so wonderful. It would be such a wonderful world, and everything would be great. And so we live in this bewildered, deluded dream world. Because it's only in the dream can that ever be true. Because it's just not reality. And we can't be happy if we're not living in reality. We can't. It can feel like happiness. But what's the problem with the dream? What's the one weakness? Yes. You have to wake up. And then the dream's over and it's like, oh no. Oh no. Not another day at work. Ah. Not another day at school. It's freezing cold. You have to sit on the bus. Spend an hour to get to work. Oh. And sit there all day. What am I gonna do? I can't. Okay, I'll go make a cup of tea. Oh, I know my boss is gonna be annoyed with me if I don't get back. Pretend that I'm making a few calls. You know, what should I do? I need to get out of here. I know I'm gonna start smoking, so I can take more breaks. I hate smoking, but how am I gonna make another cup of tea? Must be lunch break soon. And just trying to get through the day, you know, and get through the week. If you get through the week and you get your paycheck, and then how are you gonna spend the money on? Drinking so you can escape again into another dream world, another illusion, and forget all the suffering. So Srila Prabhupada said that happiness in this material world isn't real happiness. It's actually just a mitigation of distress. That when we feel that we've escaped some suffering, we feel happiness, satisfaction, relief. Like, as you know, the sound when somebody scrapes their fingernails down the black. You know the sound? It's horrible, isn't it? You can suffer. And then when the sound stops, what do you feel like?
Happiness!
Oh, God. Relief. Well, you're very, very hungry. I'm so hungry. Oh, I'm so hungry. I can't eat anything. When's someone going to bring me some food? And then somebody brings you a nice big chocolate cake. How do you feel? See? You eat it, you feel happy. Very happy you're eating it.
Not happy, just satisfied. Not really happy. Like, I mean,
If you don't eat too much, you'll feel satisfied. Satisfaction comes. Of course, then if you overeat, then there's a different type of suffering. Yes. So, yes, satisfaction is actually the key. To be satisfied in what we have. Not to lament for what we've lost. We're always lamenting what we've lost. Oh, if only I just took that opportunity. Why didn't I do that? Now, if I had the same opportunity again, because I've learned. And so then we're hankering after what we wish we could obtain. So we're lamenting over missed opportunities, and then we're hankering in the future, something wonderful will happen to me. Both of them have no value. Because one is gone, and one doesn't exist. So to live in the present moment, to live in the now, and be satisfied with my situation is the beginning of a simple life. A simple life in Krishna consciousness. Because Krishna is always present in the moment. He's right here. He's in our hearts. He's available through the chanting or through the books, through prasadam. And if we engage in Krishna consciousness right now in this moment, we can be with Krishna. But if we're always lamenting about the past and hankering about the future, then where's Krishna? Where is he? He's forgotten. Krishna's very satisfied. He doesn't ask for much, does he? He's quite happy living in a forest with a bunch of cows and just walking around in the forest. Simple, playing his flute. Simple life. He doesn't need the sophistications of modern living. You know, you've got to have, latest car, the most fashionable accessories. He's very happy, just simple life. He's quite fine. So we're not being asked to do anything that Krishna's not prepared to do himself. Krishna's devotees are very dear to Krishna. Krishna's devotees are more dear to him than Krishna himself. Krishna prefers that we serve his devotees than serve him. That's how dear Krishna's devotees are. So in that sense, Krishna's devotees are more powerful than Krishna. Because Krishna's devotees can control Krishna through love, through affection. Because Krishna is completely independent, he can never be controlled. The uncontrollable supreme controller. But through affection, the supreme controller becomes controlled. So in the same way, we consider ourselves to be little controllers. But through affection, if we allow ourselves to be controlled, so in Vrindavan we have the original principle of divine love, which is completely different to love we can experience in this world. Our love in this world is pretty much associated with
Krishna!
for the devotees, yes. It is much associated with attraction to the material body. But in the spiritual world, Love is always centered upon love for who?
Krishna!
Yes, Krishna. So, the relationship between Radha and Krishna, which is what we were singing about in this song, is very important for us to understand, even though we can never understand it. But we should still try to understand. So, Jaya Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari, that this relationship between Radha and Madhava is so sweet. Radharani is the Swarup Shakti, so she is the complete energy of the Lord, the feminine aspect. And so she's complete in that way, the Swarup, the complete Shakti. So Krishna can only be happy with Radharani. He can't be fully complete with anybody else. There are so many gopis who are expansions of Radharani, but they only have a certain combination of the Radharani's qualities, a certain amount. So he can never be completely satisfied with anybody else but Srimati Radhika. So why then, you can ask, this transcendental envy? They say, well, in the spiritual world there's this kind of jealousy, this envy, this rivalry between the gopis. They all want to be with Krishna and dance with Krishna. And this is our mundane understanding. Why is Radharani upset when Krishna's with another gopi? Does anyone know? Is it because, oh, he should be with me? You know, I'm the only one who can be with Krishna and these other gopis. Radharani knows that she's the only one who can bring Krishna complete happiness. She knows it. It's not like a matter of pride, it's just reality. So she knows that the other gopis, they can't bring as much happiness to Krishna as she can. And that's the only reason. So Lord Chaitanya, who is our, how do you say? So we're worshippers of Lord Chaitanya, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, and this Radharani and Krishna have combined. So we have this saying, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahayan. So Radha and Krishna have come together again. They were separated, and they came together again. So Lord Chaitanya, Krishna wanted to understand the love that Radharani has for him, because it's impossible to understand. So therefore he took a form to try to experience, to try to taste Radharani's love for Krishna. So the golden avatar, he's come in a golden form, the same complexion as Radharani, to taste the love that Radharani has for Krishna. But we see that Lord Chaitanya also performed many duties. What ashram was Lord Chaitanya in?
Sanya.
It was a sannyas. So was Lord Chaitanya a good sannyasi? What do you think?
Spread Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, he was a preacher. What's the duties of a sannyasi? What should they do and shouldn't do? Preaching. They give their whole life to spreading Krishna consciousness.
Shouldn't associate with any females.
Shouldn't associate with females. So we know Lord Chaitanya, he had always surrounding him many followers, but the ladies were showing respect from a distance, because as a sannyasi, he had to set a good example for society as a sannyasi. Yeah. Anything else? What about his eating habits?
They have to beg.
Should beg, yes. And what about the quantity of eating?
Just enough.
Sannyasi shouldn't eat too much. Should be sense control. Right? But there are some stories where he eats a lot, isn't there? There's like a story where there's a whole room of food and he eats the whole thing. You know the story? Yeah. there was so many, because he was only eating a small amount, but everybody kept donating so much food, and so he'd say, oh, just put it in that corner. And so after many weeks, there was a whole room full of food. And so what are we going to do with all this food? This has all been offered with love and affection to Lord Chaitanya. So Mahaprabhu, he sat down and said, okay, bring the food. And he started to eat. He started to eat, and he'd bring more. Bring those things. Bring those things over there. And he ate. Because you know, Lord Chaitanya is also Lord Jagannath. And Lord Jagannath has how many meals a day? Does anyone know?
16.
16 meals? Come on, I can eat much more than that. How many meals? Oh, how old did you say? 16?
Yes, 16.
Yeah, no.
No?
No.
108.
Meals? a day?
Almost. Almost. They cook for him. It's 60. It's either 58 or 64 meals a day. Yeah. Full meals. And a lot. And they're always cooking. They say the fire in the kitchen of Lord Jagannath is always burning. Because they're constantly cooking for him. So if you go to Jagannath Puri, you'll take the Mahaprasadam then. Very famous Mahaprasadam. So Lord Chaitanya could eat unlimited amounts of Mahaprasadam because he could do that. But to set an example, he would usually eat a very small amount. So Krishna is always trying to set a good example for us. He's always trying to set a good example. And the reason why the pastimes in Vrindavan can be confused is because sometimes Krishna is quite naughty. And we can think, well, that's not a very good example. Stealing butter, dancing in the night time with the gopis. These aren't very good examples to follow, you could argue. But that's why these pastimes in Vrindavan are very confidential. They're not easily understood. Srila Prabhupada says you should read from the first canto systematically, all the way through, all the cantos, before getting to the 10th canto. And in that way you'll be able to understand. Because the example Krishna is showing in the Vrindavan pastimes is the example of affection, of how to love and how to be loved. That affection can overwhelm even duty. That there's a higher affection. Our affection for Krishna should be so strong that we're even ready to sacrifice our duties, if necessary. But we shouldn't whimsically. This is in the Bhagavad Gita. So Arjuna is always asking the same question to Krishna. You know, Krishna, what should I do? This is my family, I don't want to kill them. If I kill them all, there'll be unwanted progeny, Varnashankara, the society will break down. There'll be so many problems if I kill all these men. I will not fight, I'll just be a sadhu. I'll become God conscious, I'll go to the forest and live a spiritual life. And what does Krishna say? No. What does he call Arjuna? What does he say? You're speaking learned words. You're talking like a wise man, but actually, you're a fool. You're mourning for that which is not worthy of grief. You should perform your duty. The whole 3rd chapter is convincing Arjuna about you must follow your dharma. You're a kshatriya, you're a fighter. Your business is chopping off heads of the enemy. You're not a sadhu. Don't go to the forest with your begging bowl like this. No, you should be on there in the battlefield, aiming your arrows at the enemy, killing them in wet droves. This is your duty, and this will make me happy if you just do your duty. But instead of doing it for yourself, do it for me. Because the only reason Arjuna was lamenting so much was because he was doing it for himself. And if we're doing everything for ourselves, we will always be full of anxieties. But if you do things for Krishna, then we're fearless. We will never be covered. It's a transcendental platform, so one can be very, very active in Krishna consciousness. You don't have to give up your jobs. You don't have to give up your families. You can perform all of your duties in this world. You just have to add Krishna. That's all. And so you add Krishna through chanting his names, spreading his teachings. What else? How else can we be Krishna conscious in our daily lives?
To read Srila Prabhupada's books.
Read Srila Prabhupada's books. What else can we do?
Chant.
Chants. Like what?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare.
Exactly like that. What else can we do?
Whatever we're doing, we're remembering about Krishna. I mean, with every action in everyday's life, we're remembering Krishna.
Sure.
We devote talking the position.
What kind of actions can we do?
Prepare Bhoga and offer it to the
Yes. I was wondering, how can nobody think of this one? We can offer food to Krishna. Because what do? We eat, right? That's one thing we have to do. We have to work. Right? So what we can do, we can offer our... We have to live somewhere, right? You have to live somewhere. So whose house is it? Is it my house?
Krishna's house.
It's Krishna's house. So you should have a nice big picture of Krishna. Or deity of Krishna, or Lord Chaitanya. And say, my Lord, this is your house. It's not my house. This is your house. So please, what will motivate me to clean the house? Will it be because I want the house clean? That's normally my motivation. But what should it be? Because Krishna likes it clean, right? Krishna likes a clean house. So therefore let me keep the house like a temple, like clean. Yeah? Why will I pay the bills?
It's for Krishna to have a house where to live.
Yeah. So it's nice and warm for him. It's not freezing cold. You know, there's light. Yeah, electricity. Krishna needs also light and electricity. And he needs water. How can you offer him water if there's no water? So you have to pay the water bill. Right? So then, why are you going to work then?
Be able to pay water bills.
Yeah, so you can pay the bills so Krishna's house can be maintained, so Krishna can be happy in his house. So everything becomes spiritualized. Every single thing you do. Your work. So what about family life? Why am I raising my children in a nice way? Is it because I want... Of course you want nice children. But that's one reason. What could another reason be?
Well, for them to become good devotees, so that they serve Krishna in their lives.
Because what are they eternally? Yeah, they're souls. They're eternal servants of Krishna. So would Krishna be happy if we raised our children to completely forget about him? No. So then would Krishna be happy if the children were starving to death? What do you think? Do you think he'd be happy about that? No. So then why are we feeding our children? Because it pleases Krishna. Why are we teaching our children good manners? And Vaishnava culture and customs, and they're respectful. They respect authority, that they also understand cleanliness, and they understand things like this, because that's how Krishna likes children to be. He likes children to be like that. He likes them to be innocent, playful. He likes children to feel that they're loved and protected, as he was loved and protected. That's how he likes it. So therefore we can understand that this is pleasing to Krishna. I'm raising my children in a way that's pleasing to Krishna. It becomes devotional service, pure devotional service. Therefore every aspect of our lives can be Krishnized. There's nothing that cannot be Krishnized. If we simply do our duties and offer the results to Krishna. Be very happy with us. And then we will be happy. Because if Krishna is happy, we are happy. Does anyone have any questions they would like to ask? No? Almost time. Okay. Well, maybe just do a little kirtan at the end. Is that okay?
How to free yourself from greed, like this emotion that stays with us, with Jesus?
How do we free ourselves from greed? What is greed? Greed is when we want something beyond what we need. So if you want something beyond what we need, so the source of that basically is lust. So the three gateways to hell: lust, greed, and anger. So lust is just a desire to enjoy. I want to enjoy this world. I want to satisfy my senses. So when that builds, then you develop this greedy mentality. Get as much as I can. And then if somebody gets in the way of my enjoyment, what happens to me? Get angry with them. I was going very nicely on my bicycle, enjoying singing, enjoying the breeze, and then some car pulled in front of me without warning. And then I get very angry because they're ruining my life. I was very happy before. We get angry. So all of these are based upon lust. Lust is a desire to enjoy separately from Krishna. So the only real cure is to actually just try to stop enjoying separately from Krishna. Be satisfied with what Krishna provides. Become a simple person. Be satisfied. And then there's no place for greed. Of course, there's lolium, spiritual greed. That's good. We should be greedy spiritually. We should be very greedy for association with devotees. We should be very greedy for Krishna's mercy. So we should do everything we possibly can to get Krishna's attention. Be very greedy for this. But greedy for transcendental association is very different to greed for material sense gratification, although they can look the same to somebody who doesn't know the difference. So greed isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's just how we apply that greedy nature. Thank you for your question. Okay. Well, thank you very much. It's been very nice talking with you all, and thank you for giving me your input and contributing. It's very helpful. It's more fun if you do it as a team. Yeah, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
His Grace Doyal Mora Prabhu ki.
Jai.
Praise Yogapati Prabhu ki.
Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Little kirtan. Okay. So what time is Prasad?
5 minutes and go Prasad.
15 minutes. Okay. Cartels player. Cartels. Very good. Very good rhythm. Playing your instruments?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, we got that.
It's more fun. Everybody joins in. Jai! Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki
Jai!
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai!
Russian Vedic Society ki
Jai!
Russian Vedic Society Incredible Prasadam ki
Jai!
Russian Vedic Society Sadhu Sangha ki
Jai!
Kantai Gold Permanent
Hari!
Oh, glorious to the assembled devotees. Oh, glorious to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Oh, glorious to the assembled
Hare
devotees.
Krishna.
All glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Kismet Doyal Mora Prabhu ki!
All of you, Ki! Jai! Thank you very much. Wonderful to be with you.
Thank you.
Дорогие преданные, спасибо большое. Пожалуйста, проходите в ту часть зала. Сейчас будет вегетарианское угощение.